Hey guys, welcome back. Tisha here, back for what I think is going to be a segment of It's Getting Real. Imagine being a teenager in a small town, thinking that everything is going great, and it is, until you start getting these text messages from a number that you don't recognize. The messages are frequent, they are harsh, and they are cruel. They occur all day throughout the day. Messages that are designed to tear you down, tearing apart your self-worth and your esteem, making you feel like you have no friends, convincing you that your boyfriend of 2 years hates you, even going as far as telling you that the world would be better without you. Now imagine finding out that those very messages that I just described, and trust me, there's way more than that, are coming from someone who is supposed to love and protect you. I'm not going to say who it is yet, but it will be said that the person who did this, in my mind, is sicker than sick. I want you to listen to what I'm saying and marinate on it, because this was coming from someone that is supposed to love. I want you to then ask yourself if the person who committed this crime paid the right amount of time. Today, we're going to be talking about the shocking true story on Netflix called Unknown Number: The High School Catfish. Do me a favor, hit the like button as we jump into this. So it all started in October of 2020. Lauren Licari is 14 years old. She's talented and beautiful and somewhat popular and athletic. She lives at home with her parents, Kendra, and her father, that's her mom, and her father, Sean. She has been dating a young man by the name of Owen McKinney at this point for over a year. He is also a student at the school that she goes to, Bell City High. Now, they're calling it a high, but from my understanding, the classes range from preschool all the way to 12th grade, and the population is less than 1,000. If I remember correctly, we're talking about numbers of 700. So it's just showing you how small this area is, right? I want you to understand that when you're dealing with small towns and things like this happen, it's a big deal. Owen is a handsome young man. He is also smart and talented and athletic. These kids are great. Their parents like them, and the families start to get close. They're doing things together. The moms are hanging out with each other. The families are having cookouts and barbecues and things of that nature. Owen later invites his girlfriend Lauren to this annual Halloween party. Now, on the documentary, it said that this was something that Lauren wasn't invited to. Meanwhile, the young lady who was throwing the party is saying that there were no invites. It was open to all. But either way, there was a party that both adults and kids would be at, because for whatever reason, sometimes the kids and the adults like to party together. I don't know. This is what they're saying on the documentary. Lauren wanted to stay home. A couple weeks before the event, they receive a text message from this unknown number claiming that Owen is going to be breaking up with Lauren because he no longer likes her. One message even references the upcoming party, saying, "Not sure what he told you, but he's coming to the Halloween party and we are both DTF." If you don't know what DTF means, down to bang bang. Down to get some cookie. This is what is being said in the text messages to this 14-year-old now, or these 14-year-olds. We're not going to act like, young kids don't do certain things, but based off of what I'm seeing on this episode and the things that have been said, these two children were not doing that type of stuff with one another. At first, Lauren is thinking that it's some type of cruel joke, that, maybe he didn't like her, or maybe this was just someone jealous of their relationship, of what her and Owen had. Owen lets her know he knows nothing about it. He didn't send it, and that he doesn't understand, what this thing is about. She got some more messages saying he no longer likes you and he hasn't liked you for a while, and things like you are the ugliest person I've ever seen. But then it stops. The messages stop. They ask around, no one admits to it, and they think that it was just a fluke. Then almost a year later, the messages begin again. This time, they're more frequent and they're more directed at Lauren. They are talking about the things that Lauren wears and the way she styles her hair and the things that she's doing in class. And it's just taunt after taunt after taunt. The harassment goes from talking about her appearance to being more explicit, humiliating her about her relationship with Owen, going as far as saying Owen wants sex, BJ's, and making out. He doesn't want your sorry A. Kill yourself, B. These are the text messages that she's getting. I'm reading it because I want y'all to remember these messages and then think about this when I tell you who the person was that's been doing this. So this is getting exhausting. They're trying to figure out what they should do. They're blocking numbers. Then they just text them from a different number. They can't figure out who it is. They're kids. They haven't told their parents yet. They're keeping it amongst themselves. And then it just gets to be too much and they let their parents know. It got to the point where they were getting 30 messages in a day. And this thing went on for well over 15 months. So the messages are shown to the principal. I believe his name was Dan Boyer. He's receiving a lot of heat at this point from the parents now that the parents know, because they want to know who it is and if it can be stopped. The unknown number, as I said, knows personal things, which makes the kids feel like it's somebody that they know. It's getting to a point where there is concern that this is not just going to be a thing where they're hurt mentally and emotionally, but maybe that something else will be done. Eventually, it causes this huge divide with Owen and Lauren, and Owen decides that they should break up. Now, his hope is that maybe they could get back together, that the text would die down, but it doesn't work because the texts just continue. The parents are fed up. They're advocating at this point for their babies because they need something to be done. Jill, who is Owen's mom, and Kendra, who is Lauren's mom, need to find out who's doing this, and they're both trying various ways to do so. According to Jill, she was going to the school almost daily, and she got to the point where she said to the principal, "Can you please enforce a cell phone policy? Why does my kid have access to look at this when he should be learning?" Here's the thing. Even if they did take away those phones, once he got the phone back, he would still be seeing all these other things the moment that he got home, and it really wouldn't have stopped anything. Now, the school principal decides, you know what? I may not be able to take their phones, but I can try to look at surveillance cameras and see if we can link the times that Owen and Lauren are being messaged and watch and monitor what it is that the kids are doing. They look, they try to see if they can find anything, they don't. Now the parents are concerned. Local authorities later are involved because the information is passed on from the principal to the sheriff. Owen starts dating someone else from a different school, and she begins to be harassed too. She dumps Owen. Investigators realize, okay, there's got to be more to this because she doesn't even go to their school and she's being harassed. Parents and classmates and even Lauren's friends are now under suspicion. Some kids were eventually questioned directly. Chloe Wilson, whose father was a law enforcement officer at the time, is one of those who are singled out. Owen's friend Sophia Weber is, as well as Owen's cousin Adriana. They're all among the list for various reasons. Now, from what I'm gathering, listening to them talk about Chloe and them, it sounds like there was a group that was maybe meaner to the other kids, and Chloe was in that group. Now, the cousin got pulled in because a picture was taken, and in some text messages, the things that were described, you had to be at that Christmas party, and the cousin took a picture, so they automatically assumed that it was her. They're questioned. It's a small town. Rumors are flying. The girls deny sending the messages, and they hand over their phones so that they can be searched. They're searched. All the girls eventually are cleared. Let me tell you something. If these kids are constantly being questioned by detectives, then the rumor mill is saying that you may have something to do with it. And kids will turn against kids. So friends are not only blaming each other, but they're blaming Lauren. They're thinking that Lauren is doing this to herself, that Lauren is sending herself these messages so that she can get attention or so that she can get Owen back. Friends and parents are blaming each other. It is a mess. Lauren is continuing to get horrible text messages, things that are some are too much for me to even say, because at one point she was talking about, in the text message, it says something along the lines of cream and peas and stuff that. But among those as well, she's being called a worthless hoe and trash, saying things like her anorexic butt. It's all mean. It's all bullying. It's all mean. It's just messed up. She plays basketball and she's getting text messages about how bad she was in the JV varsity game and how her stats were awful and, all these other things. And those messages try to make it seem like it's Chloe, but police already know it's not. Chloe's not going to sit there and implicate herself by saying, oh, it's me. That makes absolutely no sense. So she lost some friends. She lost some sanity, and she lost her boyfriend of 2 years. Eventually, because I'm not dragging this out, law enforcement reaches out to the FBI. With the help from the FBI, officers track IP addresses, the spoof phone numbers, and they find that they are getting closer and closer to the person who is doing this. In a moment straight out of something that you would see on TV, police body cam footage shows officers confronting the person that is behind this cyber bullying situation. The messages weren't coming from Owen. They weren't coming from classmates. They weren't coming from friends. They weren't coming from strangers at all. The messages, spoiler alert, were coming from Lauren's own mother, Kendra. Y'all, when I say, when that was revealed, when her name came across the screen saying that this same number was connected to all these other numbers and they traced the IP back to their home, to their address, you talking about pissed off? I was pissed off. And if I had the television on right now and I saw her face, I would be even more pissed off, because I am a mother. And I refuse to let this chick use mental health as the reason why she did this. I refuse to let this lady speak this crap about how because she was assaulted when she was 17, that she decided to go this route by being a person that harassed not just her daughter, but these other kids. Cut the crap, lady. Because what I see is someone who was jealous of their daughter. Because why is it that you started to target Owen even after she was no longer dealing with him? Why is it that you wanted to cut up his meat, as he said? Why is it that you were inappropriate with him at times and overly concerned about his things that were going on in his life and going to all his games and things of that nature, even when your daughter was no longer dating him? This is giving more than just Munchausen's to me, because that's the excuse that is used in the film. Why did you need to reach out to his new girlfriend? Let me remind you of one of the messages that was said. His life would be better if you were Ed. Put a D in front of it. This is what her own mother sent her. Her own mother. Now, investigators realize that she's being tormented this entire time by the person who is supposed to protect her. When confronted about it on body cam, she's barely admitting to sending it. She said, I didn't start it, but I did pick up doing it later on. Who in their right mind, as an adult, as a person, is going to do what she did? She's trying to deny it, and police are telling her that they know that it's her the whole time. But she's trying to act like it's not her. Then, as they question her in the house, for whatever reason, because these are America's most foolish investigators, they decide that they are going to confront her and tell her daughter that the person who has been tormenting her is her mom. Why would you bring her in a room to sit with her mother and announce this information before even informing her father, before even making sure her father is there or someone who loves her is there, so that when she is told this information, that she has a safe space to land? You are doing this without her father present. These officers are dense. As they're telling this little girl, because that's what she is, that her mom is the person who's been telling her to unalive herself, that the mom is the person who is saying sexual things to her, that her mom is the person who made her cry and who caused division with her and her boyfriend, that her mom is the person who was calling her names and saying that she was ugly and calling her anorexic. All of that was her mother. And her mom is further harming her, because while she's being told this by officers, her mother is touching her. I personally would be like, get away from me, lady. But Lauren, in my opinion, seems to be in shock and like it's not registering to her. Her mother, Kendra, is holding her hand and rubbing her arm and standing up over her, hugging her, putting her face into her body, acting like she cares. Lady, get off that child, because you're the one who did this to her. So her father gets a call from officers, all on body cam footage. We don't get to hear the whole conversation, but he gets a call and he's told to come home. He comes home, he told what's what, and he is pissed. Officers let him know additional information that he didn't even know. Now, at this time, he thought that the lady had all these jobs, that she was an IT person for one of the local universities, that she did some stuff here and there, was a coach, all these other things. When it turns out the lady doesn't have a job. Now, I don't know if he was under a rock. I don't know how he didn't know, but he didn't know, right? She got fired from her job months ago, and she's still being evasive, because when the husband asks her how long ago was it, she says a while ago. You know when you got fired. So they had been struggling with money because she was the person who managed the money. She wasn't paying the bills. He told us at one point that during all this stuff going on in those 2 years, that they moved 4 times. One of those times they had an eviction notice on the door. I'm sorry, sir. It didn't clue you in then that something's not right? That she's not paying bills if you guys had an eviction notice? Things put in storage, gone because she wasn't paying the bill. It's so much deeper than just the fact that she did this horrible thing to these kids and her daughter. She's done other horrible things. As one of the investigators says, she's a liar. So he can't believe that his wife would do this and hurt their daughter like this, especially for so long. So he tells her to get out. He's like, get out, call your parents, da-da-da-da. The officers have her phone and stuff. He's like, call your parents, let your parents know they need to come and get you because I can't be in the house with you. I can't. To me, that was a very real moment because he's letting officers know he doesn't know what he's going to do if somebody doesn't come and get this lady. He's telling her to get out or he may do something. And this foolish lady, Kendra, is still holding her child as her daughter is boo-hooing. She didn't really cry until her father started going off. I think that's when she realized how bad it was. So she's now crying and she's like, I can't leave her. She needs me. Ma'am, what? You're the cause of her pain. What do you mean she needs you? She doesn't need you. She needs you to go away like galang. What in the world? It's crazy. So she's sitting there now talking to production as they're asking her questions. And she says, I was sending messages in the hopes that they might, send back, asking, is this so-and-so? I started with the thought like, we need some answers. And it just kept going. Answers for what? That makes absolutely no sense. Like, what are you talking about, lady? I had to replay it again to make sure I heard it right because it doesn't make sense as to why you're saying that you started messaging your daughter the way that you were messaging your daughter. Are you saying you wanted answers to see if she was being actual? Like, what exactly did you need answers to see? She didn't know who it was, so that makes absolutely no sense. I'm going to quote what Kendra says again, right? And I'm wondering to myself, in you saying what you said about BJ's and stuff, how is that supposed to help her in any way? Kendra, in my opinion, by the end of this, throughout the whole thing, doesn't seem to grasp the magnitude of the harm that she caused to not just her own child, but to all these other families. This is what she says. Every single one of us makes mistakes. And realistically, a lot of us have probably broke the law at some point or another and not gotten caught. If you get caught, you're in the same situation as I am, but for a different thing. This is coming from a lady who harassed kids for 2 years. So I do feel people lost the sight of that. People haven't lost the sight that you committed a crime against children. People haven't lost the sight that you did this to your daughter. They haven't. I know to some I'm a headline, a villain, a bad mom, whatever. But that's because they know only one little piece of my story. They don't know my whole story. I don't care what your story is. I don't give a mother bleep about your story, lady. Like none. Because to act like because you have some unresolved trauma, that excuses what you did, that doesn't fly with me. There's a lot of us walking around who've gone through some really bad things. And we've done what we needed to do to make sure that we don't have those same things repeated with our kids. And here you are harming your child in other ways. That's the way that I look at it. Tell me how you look at it. So she said as a teenager, she had been sexually aided, and she admitted that she was terrified of history repeating itself with her daughter. She said this happened when she was 17, but you started harassing her as early as 14. And instead of protecting Lauren, you traumatized her even more. Now, as I said, some people speculate that this is Munchausen's by proxy type of behavior. I personally feel like it's so much more than that. I feel like Kendra is dangerous. I feel like she needs control. I feel like she needs to feel important. She wanted her daughter to lean on her, and she was willing to do anything in order to have that happen. And people like that need to be watched. Now, for her daughter, the betrayal was deep. In early interviews, when things first started happening, she said that she loves her mom, that she just wanted her mom back in her life. Her mother was still riding her. And if she didn't say, I love you, oh monkey, silly monkey, you didn't tell me you love me, I'll forgive you, like still needing that validation. But as time went on, you could see she grew a little bit more cautious. In December of 2022, Kendra was arrested. She was charged with 2 counts of stalking a minor, 2 counts of communicating with another to commit a crime, and 1 count of obstruction of justice. During her 2023 trial, she pled guilty to 2 counts of stalking a minor and apologized to Owen and his family. But I don't really feel like she was as apologetic as she tried to make herself seem. Just because you shed a couple of tears doesn't mean that you're not being performative. It felt performative, if you ask me. You all tell me how you felt about it if you watched it down below. She gets sentenced to what I think they said is closest to the max, which is 19 months in prison. Not enough time, if you ask me. I feel like she should be doing years with mandatory intensive therapy. You did this to minors and to families. You shouldn't have got off that easy. She was released in August of 2024. The kids are now 18. Lauren does say now that she wants to see her mother, but she is conflicted about her feelings on it, saying that now that she is out, I just want her to get the help she needs. So when we see each other, it doesn't go back to the old ways and the way it was before. I love her more than anything. Lauren has become closer with her father, Sean. Her and Owen still saw each other in school, even up to their graduation in May of 2025, but they no longer speak. And can you really blame either one of them? Like, what is there for you all to talk about? What went from this cute little puppy love turned into something dark? This, to me, wasn't just cyberbullying. It was betrayal from within the family. And it will leave scars that a lot of them would not be able to erase, because you have changed the way that your daughter views people and her trust. You're her mom, and this is what you did. So it leaves me with this question. What would you do if the person hurting you turned out to be the person that you were supposed to trust the most? And do you feel like she got enough time? Let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much. Let me know what you thought of this. I think that Netflix has some good documentaries. I didn't dig a whole bunch as I normally dig when I do my crime segments, because it's like I'll just go off of what Netflix says. But I'm interested in seeing the discussion that comes of this. Like, do you guys feel like 19 months was enough? Because I really, really don't. And it's just the magnitude. You did it for 2 years. They could have at least given you 2 years for each one of those counts. Yeah. Anyways, tell me your thoughts. Until next time.